The clerk of courts has come out and denied all allegations that the Murdaugh team has put against her, and we're going to talk about it in today's video. Hello everybody and welcome back to the sofa. Sofa's back there. Roscoe's holding it down. My name's Paul. Today we're going to be talking about an affidavit, a signed, sealed, and delivered affidavit that has come out from the clerk of courts. Now this is in relation to the Alex Murdaugh case. We will go over a little quick overview of the case in case you are new to it. But specifically what we're going to focus on is reading that affidavit and the allegations that she is denying and saying, hey, I didn't do it. Okay. And the way we will do that is by reading, well, the affidavit. Now, forewarning, whenever I read it for whatever reason, part of me reads it in what's her name? Suzanne Sugarbaker from Designing Women's Voice. I was watching it earlier. I might slip into that. It's a mix of somewhere in there. I don't know where it comes from, but it just has summoned in me. So, just know that. And it does make the reading a little bit more fun and interesting. Now, let's go ahead and talk about quick overview of the case so we know who we're talking about and what's going on. So, Alex Murdaugh, that he is a disgraced and disbarred attorney from South Carolina. He has been convicted of taking the life of his wife, Maggie, and son, Paul. This was, well, that wasn't recent, but the conviction was recent. He's now serving life sentences over the ordeal in South Carolina. But on the heels, I mean, y'all, the ink hadn't dried on that paperwork, and his team came out with some major allegations, some major motions, and is requesting a new trial, all because of Rebecca Hill, the clerk of courts. They are basically saying that she alone tainted this jury to such a degree, y'all, the things that they came out saying against her. I mean, where do you go but a new trial? Now, before we get into the things that it's like, you know, oh, she said, he said, that type thing. You know, I will say, regardless of my feelings, if Alex is guilty, not guilty, convicted, wrongly convicted, any of that stuff, or against his attorneys are doing their job. This is what they're supposed to do. And so they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's, right? They're supposed to fight for their client. So I totally get that. So it's not that I just am disregarding the fact that they're just doing their jobs. I 100% get it. They're trying to do everything they can for their client. Now, if I were Alec and these allegations came out and they were proved to be true, oh, I'd be upset too, right? I mean, I was upset just as a bystander to the trial. I was like, are you kidding me? We definitely need to hear if this has validity to it. Now, a couple of things to remember is Rebecca, she came out with a book. It's called, I have my notes right here, Behind the Doors of Justice and Murdaugh Murders. So, and again, she's the South Carolina clerk of court. So that's the gist of who we're dealing with and the nuts and bolts of it. Again, this video is not meant to go in some deep dive about the case, but specifically this update. Now, what I want to do is put on the screen the documents we're going to be reading. I think it's like 4 pages. So it's not that much of them, but what we're going to do is, opposed to going through like, well, he said this, so she said that, you can surmise what has been said that she has done by what she's saying she hasn't done. Now, I've done other videos specifically about these motions when they came out. So if you do want to watch them, just go on down the playlist. You know what I'm saying up in here. Roscoe, are you ready? Yeah, Dad, I'm ready. Well, I guess I'm ready too. Let's go. So you'll see here where it says Exhibit A, signed affidavit of Mary Rebecca Hill. That's just the intro page. It's very simple. It's very that. Let's go on. Here we go. State of South Carolina, County of Richland, affidavit of Mary Rebecca Hill. Personally appeared before me the undersigned notary public duly authorized to administer oaths, Mary Rebecca Hill, who, being duly sworn, disposes and says. We're going to kind of just go through these first few here very quickly. She's over the 18. She's, legal mental competency to be doing this. It's submitted at the request of the Attorney General of South Carolina to address specific allegations contained in affidavits attached as exhibits to Mr. Murdaugh's motion for the new trial, filed October 27, 2023. There are numerous misrepresentations and false statements contained within the motion for a new trial to which I was not requested to specifically address. As such, this affidavit is not intended to address every allegation contained within the motion for new trial. After being elected in 2020, I have served as the clerk of court in Colleton County. I was elected clerk of court for Colleton County during the case of State of South Carolina versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh. I have reviewed Mr. Murdaugh's motion for a new trial filed October 27, 2023. As to the allegations contained within the affidavit of juror number 630, now this is where she gets into just reeling them off, y'all. Reeling them off. Okay. I did not tell the jury not to be fooled by evidence presented by Mr. Murdoch's attorneys. I did not instruct the jury to watch him closely. I did not instruct the jury to look at his actions. So moving on to the next page. I did not instruct the jury to look at his movements. I did not say to the jury, this shouldn't take as long. When juror 826 asked to speak with me, the conversations took place in the jury room hall within earshot of bailiff Bill Polk. The conversations did not involve the evidence, witnesses, or substance of the trial. As to the allegations within affidavit of Holly Miller discussing an alleged conversation with juror 741, I did not have conversations with juror 826 in a bathroom. My conversations with juror 826 did not involve the evidence, witnesses, or substance of this trial. During the trial, I did not tell members of the jury that the media would want to interview them at the end of the trial. During the trial, I did not hand out business cards of media personnel. I did not tell jurors, y'all are going to hear things that will throw you all off, but don't let this distract or mislead you. As to the allegations within the affidavit of juror 785, I did not tell jurors not to be fooled by the evidence presented by Alex Murdoch's attorneys. I did not ask juror number 785 whether juror number 785 was inclined to vote guilty or not guilty. I did not tell juror number 785 that Sled and Colleton County Sheriff's Office personnel went to her ex-husband's house. I did not tell juror number 785 that I would reinstate a restraining order against her ex-husband. I did not state to juror 785 that the Murdochs probably got to him. I did not ask juror number 785 about her opinions regarding Mr. Murdoch's guilt. I did not ask number 785, well, what makes you think he's guilty? H. I did not discuss the evidence presented at the trial with juror 785. I did not tell juror 785 that everything that Mr. Murdoch said has been lies. I did not tell juror number 785 to forget about the guns. They will never be seen again. I did not ask juror 785 about the views of the rest of the jury. I did not tell juror 785 that if the foreperson would just go in and ask for a raise in hands, this would be over and done with. I did not inform juror number 785 that everyone needs to be on the same page. I did not fabricate nor did I create my Facebook post related to juror 785. As to the allegations from the affidavit of Holly Miller discussing an alleged conversation with juror 326, I did not tell jurors they were prohibited from taking a smoke break during deliberations. Now it is signed Mary Rebecca Hill, and then the notary public down below has signed it. Okay, so let's talk about it. Please hold. We got a little bit of a drinketh from this cuppeth for this one because, it goes all around. Number one, if this turns out that this is embellished, like this stuff right here, like from the state, I'm going to be like, seriously, dudes? Seriously. If this turned out to be true, whether I like it or not, absolutely he needs a new trial. There's a level of absurdity to it in both ways. Number one, if it's true, right? I mean, this is so over the top, the things that it's like, were y'all best friends, right? It's almost like, what did you just like take your hat off, your professional, I'm working for the clerk of court, this type thing, hat off and just hang out with these people? If this is true. Now, she is denying all of it. So, I wasn't there, right? I wasn't part of this. I don't know this woman. I don't know anyone personally in this case, although I did meet old Poot at CrimeCon, but that don't mean that I know him personally, you know what I'm saying? But here's my take, and again, if you follow me for a while, this is just my take on it. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm none of that fancy stuff. These are all sofa opinions, or just my opinions. So if this turns out to be somewhat true, whatever, yes, he needs a new trial. Again, whether it doesn't matter how I feel about it, he needs a new trial because this is literally insane, okay? The fact that she wrote this book and did all this type of stuff, it's just like, are you kidding me? Now, the investigation's going on and like what's being said basically is like, these seem a little embellished, it seems a little over the top. I think the truth is in the middle somewhere, okay, between this and what the state is saying. she's denying all this type stuff. Well, where do they get it from? Where did this come from? They didn't just make it up, because if they just made it up, they need witnesses, and apparently they have jurors who are willing to come up and say A, B, and C. Now, if this which we're going to see this play out, right? Maybe not us personally on TV, it being aired, but this is going to play out, and there's investigations being done. So if it turns out that it's wishy-washy at best, or these jurors are backing out, like, no, I feel like I'm being made to say this. You see where I'm going with this? Almost like the state has kind of put people up to it, or they've like really dramatized something that took place. Okay, then we can revisit the thoughts on this and our opinions on it. But as it stands now, it's like, okay, they've thrown out these huge allegations. And again, they are doing their job. They are looking for anything to get a new trial. They want the best outcome for Alex. That's their client, right? They think he is not guilty. So of course they're going to do this. I mean, I get that. I can't fault them for that. And this is something that if these kind of allegations came out, or a juror came out and said this, then absolutely you need to look into it, right? Because this is serious. Somewhere in the middle, this will land. With the justice system and the court system here in the States, and again, I can't speak for what it's like, in other countries and whatnot, where we have a lot of transparency for it. You can say, I can sit here and make a video and talk about it. People can go, it's open to the public, they televise it. So it's very interesting, especially in this day and age where we watch these things play by play. So, one part of me is like, okay, how do I feel about her writing this book and being that, involved on a professional level with the trial, and then immediately turning around and being like, okay, I have a book written about it. It makes me believe that some of the things that jurors were saying. But again, that's just my feeling, and feelings, that's not fact yet, right? It's just how I feel. And again, I like the transparency of our justice system, because I think as corrupt as justice systems can be, I think we have a very good one. And I think it messes up sometimes, like anything does. But I think the transparency helps. It helps checks and balances and stuff to help avoid that, or make right where mistakes once were. So we'll have to see with this. This could land him a new trial. Do I think there'll be a different outcome? Depends on what evidence would be allowed in, right? I mean, with the same evidence that they put in there, we'll see. I would be curious if he had another trial and they left out all of the financial stuff, some of the stuff that was brought in, how that would play out. If that would get the same outcome as it. I personally feel like it would come up with the same outcome, but we'll see. Time will tell. So, that being said, the unfortunate thing is that there's not something in place to help prevent things like this immediately happening and immediately going into the ink hasn't dried and now we're doing this. And I mean, this is reality TV show stuff here, y'all. Okay, this is, I can't even think of the channel name for it, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is Jersey Shore show, just reality TV show drama. Okay. And that's the part where our justice system doesn't need to be that, okay? I don't know how they could change that or what they could do or whatever, but this is, to me, just ridiculous. And again, if it comes out that it's false and whatnot, okay, well, probably a good thing, but still the question is, well, how did y'all come up with this? If it comes up that this is true, I'm just going to be like, really? All this money, all this time, all these people getting on the stand, think about how traumatized Maggie's sister was getting up there in that stand. You know what I mean? Like, these people who loved and cared for them. And this is true for any case. And then immediately it's just turned upside down on its head. I mean, not cool. So anyways, that's it. Let me know what you think. Do you think that she did this? Okay, this is now the question that do we think this is true? Do we think she did these things? I mean, they're so over the top, about like reinstating a restraining order and the stuff, and you can't leave till you smoke, and all that. It's just crazy. So let me know what you think. If you're still watching, thank you. Lord, thank you. I appreciate it. Roscoe, where are your manners, son? Thanks everybody for watching. He also has to drop some sofas in the comment section. I don't know why. Anyways, until we meet on those little sofas to hang out and perch and do our little talking and whatnot, we'll see y'all soon.